right, well, we will go ahead and get started. Bryson DeChambeau, thanks for joining us for a few minutes prior to the start of the 2020 FedEx Cup playoff season here at the Northern Trust. Obviously, you're in a pretty unique situation coming back here, having won the Northern Trust at another course, yet a week later come here and win on this course. So that's got to be pretty special for you coming into the week this week.
No doubt. TPC Boston is an amazing place. I have a lot of great memories from there, playing with Tiger, playing well with him, and just honestly winning back-to-back was something I never dreamed I'd do, and very fortunate to be able to do that, complete that, and come back here on good terms.
And you're coming into the week, obviously, with an incredible season, 9 top 10s and 14 starts, your 6th most recent win at Rocket Mortgage. Just some kind of size up your game as you're heading into the week with us here.
Well, I worked on my game for about 9 hours the past Sunday and Saturday. So worked really hard, very rigorous training sessions, and worked out a lot this past week. For me personally, I feel like I'm ready to go this week. We'll see. Obviously, the week, you never know what happens during the week. Always something could potentially happen, but same point in time, I feel really good. I've played really well this season. My body feels really good. My game feels really good. I think I figured something out. We'll see. Obviously, you never know. Weeks play out differently, but I think I figured something out in the golf swing that hopefully will help me hit a little straighter. That'll be nice.
Okay, all right. Well, with that, we'll open it up and take a few questions. And just a reminder to those on the call here, if you would type in your name that you have a question, and we'll give you a call, and you can ask your question of Bryce. Okay, we'll start with Ben Gavlik with the PGA Tour. Ben, go ahead.
Hey, Bryson. I just have a question about the back nine, particularly. The 4 most difficult holes on this course are pretty much consecutive numbers 11 through 14, and they're followed by a finishing stretch that yields scoring opportunities, including the gettable 18th hole. So, just overall, how do you manage your strategy for the back?
Well, I haven't played with my new game this year yet. Tim, my caddy, was out there scouting the course yesterday and said that these holes are going to play a lot different for me this week. We were even talking about, I think, on 12, hitting it down the slope, potentially past that drop-off. So there's just going to be some interesting things on those difficult holes, personally, for me to try and accomplish. I think if I can figure those holes out and get to that easy stretch, I'll do what I did a couple years ago. I felt like I played really well on this back nine, especially on those difficult holes. I was able to accomplish a couple birdies and keep my momentum going that week.
Thank you, Bryce.
Yep, thanks.
Okay, our next question comes from David Dusek with Golf Week. David?
Good morning, Bryson.
Good morning.
It occurs to me that some of the changes that you've made and the adjustments to your game that you've made over the last 6 months, 8 months, require a really full commitment on your part. It seems like it's something that you kind of can't have not do. How much trepidation, or can you explain a little bit about the thought process that went in before you basically pushed all your chips into the table on this philosophy? And do you think that kind of commitment is maybe something that has led other players to maybe think this way, not follow through on it, and not maybe decide that they're that committed to the philosophy that you've undertaken?
That's a great question. I think that part of the trepidation comes from people feeling like they're about to get injured or something's going to happen in the gym and they're like, whoa, I got to relax. Or they'll go work out and they're super tired and they're like, working out the next day can't be helpful. And for me, I've actually taken the opposite approach where there was a period of time where I rested my body for almost a week when I had some bad back injuries. And I did a little trial run of rest, right? And for me, I realized I felt the exact same way after resting for a whole week on my body that when I came into that. And so I was like, there's no way this is the answer. I should be feeling better within a few days if, resting was the answer. So I said to myself, let's try the opposite, and let's go forward with it, see how that would play out. I went forward with working out every single day, and this was a few years back, and I realized that working out had some positive impacts when done in the right way. But I didn't understand how to do that just yet. This has not been just a year-long process. This has been a 3-year process with Greg Roscoff and NeuroPeak, and learning how my brain works, how my body works, and how everything functions well together. And it's been a lot of failure. I've failed a lot, and that's okay. Failure is when I personally learn a lot more about my body, myself, and what I'm trying to accomplish for the future. So I think that part of the problem comes about when people feel like they're going to get injured, or they have gotten injured, and they think that rest is the answer. Well, we're resting when we sleep, and sleeping is when we get some of our best recovery. And if you're not recovering when you're sleeping, there's something, you know, that's not that you're not inputting into your system during the day that's allowing you to sleep properly or get your proper recovery. So as I've gone through this process, I've learned a lot of ways of how not to do it. I definitely have taken a toll on my body in certain areas, but I've been able to now fix it because of what Greg has taught me, what I've experimented with in the gym, and what I've allowed myself to understand and say, hey, I'm throwing everything into this because I believe this is the way to be the most healthy you could possibly be, at least from my perspective, from all the trials that I've done back in November. And that's when I threw in all the cards, I said, and the chips. I said, you know what, this is the best way for me. So that's a little bit of a long answer, but one that I really truly believe in. And some people may not agree with that, and I understand. But everybody it's to each their own, right? And I'm not going to say that this works for everyone, or that, you know, another way works for someone else. I'm just going to say what works for me and the experience that I've gone through.
And just a really quick follow-up. Did you realize when you started this a couple of years ago, it sounds like, that it might take 2, 3, 4 years for you to sort of see the fruits of the benefits that you're seeing at this point?
Great question. Yes, absolutely. 3 years ago, I talked to Greg. I said, what is the end game in all of this and all this neuromuscular training and going and working out? He said, Bryson, I don't know. I've never had an athlete that's gone this distance. And so I said, I'm willing to go the distance. And we went the distance. We built an amazing foundation to where I could go in and work out and tolerate all these forces. And then I found tools, unique tools that allowed me to repair my body and to where I could train every single day and feel like I was recovering my body through that workout process each and every day. You know, so I work out at night every day, and that's what makes me feel really good in the morning. I wake up feeling like I can just get right out of bed and move and have no issues. The days when I don't work out, if that does happen at night, or I don't work out at night, I feel like there's stuff that I just didn't take care of. And when I go through the process and I do my routine and I work out properly, there's some amazing benefits that come about in the morning.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And our next question comes from Alex Maselli with the Golf Press Association. Alex.
Yeah. Hey, Bryson.
Hey.
A couple things. One, like you just said, when do you feel like you became an athlete?
It's a great question. When I truly felt like I started to become an athlete was probably around December of this past year. I started moving weights up quite a bit, and when I was with Greg in Denver, we just kept upping the weight, and I'm like, man, I did not think I'd be able to tolerate all of these forces going through my body, and I kept recovering well after that, and I'm like, geez, that is a whole nother level that I've never experienced before. And it was around that time period that I felt like, you know, I could do sprints with all this weight. I could do jumps. I could do everything at this new weight. And that's when I felt like I became an athlete with all this size, I guess you could say. Now, I've always been an athlete. I did track growing up, volleyball, basketball, baseball, multi-sport athlete in high school, actually. Played volleyball my senior year. So I've always known that I've kind of been an athlete, but never thought that I'd get this strong or this mobile in my entire life, especially at the age that I'm at right now.
And then secondly, the tour now has been doing events for a couple months with no fans, no ProAms, no nothing. I mean, at some point, there has to be a breaking point that you guys have to eventually bring people back in.
Yes.
Are you comfortable, or when will you be comfortable to have ProAms again and there have fans back here?
Whenever the PGA Tour thinks it's proper, it's the right time, I will defer to the PGA Tour and their, I guess you could say their diagnosis of when it would be the best time for fans to come back and Pro-Ams to come back. Personally, I would love to have them today. I love interacting with the fans and the Pro-Ams. You meet a lot of great people in the Pro-Ams. People don't realize that, I think. Some people don't like them. I like them personally because you get to meet some amazing individuals that you would not get to meet otherwise. So for me, I personally would love to have them now, but whenever the PGA Tour thinks it's the right time is when, I would be okay with it.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks.
Go now to Ryan Lappner with golfchannel.com. Ryan?
Hey, Bryson, what was your takeaway from the way you played at the PGA and kind of the first major with your new body?
Well, I was excited that it could hold up under major championship conditions. Obviously, major championship, there's a lot more pressure, there's a lot more things going on, and for my body to respond in even a better fashion than I'd previously done in my past experiences was amazing, and it was very validating that I could perform at this level with my new body. Very, very validating and something that I'll take for the future, and I hope that'll suit me well for these majors coming up.
And what were you working on so intensely for 9 hours last Saturday and Sunday?
So I was working on learning how to hit a little bit straighter. So there were times at the PGA where, for example, on 14, it was a hard left to right wind, and I just didn't feel comfortable. I missed a couple right. I was kind of bummed about that, but still shook it off and was able to make birdie on one of them. But I will say that was one thing that stuck in my mind, and that if a situation like that comes about this week, I want to be able to conquer. That's what I was working on how to control the shot a little bit better, control a draw a little bit better. Sometimes in the left-right wind, I can miss it right, and so just making sure I can draw it properly.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And now Doug Ferguson with the Associated Press. Dougie.
Hello, Bryson.
Hey.
2 questions for you. A, if you happen to see any of the U.S. Amateur coverage and happen to see, the list of past champions and your name popped up with your picture, did you recognize the guy?
I did see I do remember a faint Bryson, a small faint image of Bryson back in the day.
Very small,
yeah. Yeah. I was looking at it's funny, I was looking at a Instagram post of mine, I think 5 years ago now. Yeah, it's 2015, 2016, when I just turned professional. I went to the Bahamas and I had my shirt off, and I can't believe how skinny I looked back then. I thought I was pretty ripped and jacked back then, and no, definitely not. But it just shows personally that a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication can get you to this whole new place in life. And that's what I'm trying to hopefully do for a lot of people out there, is to inspire people to work hard every day and do their absolute best to be the best they can possibly be. So, and yeah, the U.S. Amateur, I saw a few pictures and it shocked me how different it is. And that's just a lot of dedication and a lot of resolve to try and work on things and figure things out to make myself a little bit better each and every day. But again, on the U.S. Amateur, it was pretty special seeing Strafacci and Osborne up there and them fighting it out. I watched it. It was a lot of fun.
And secondly, a little bit different from the question Alex asked a minute ago on no Pro-Ams, no fans.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, there's been no revenue come in, and a lot of people are taking a beating financially.
Yeah.
You guys are playing for same prize money, extraordinary purses with a $15 million bonus to the winner. Is there any, I don't know if guilt is the right word, but how do you feel about being able to play for full purse and full prize money at a time when everyone else seems to be sacrificing?
Well, that's a great question. It's a very difficult question to answer, one that I would refer back to the PGA Tour on. Personally, to me, I'm doing my best to give back next week. Well, I don't know if I should be talking about that, but we're doing a lot for charity, I would say, with these Pro-Ams. We're trying to give back as much as possible. For me, I totally understand that question. Personally, I don't know necessarily how to answer that because that's a PGA Tour question. I'm just coming out here and playing the best golf I can possibly play. And, for me, I'm doing my best to give back. I've been giving back a lot to my foundation. Personally, I don't really talk too much about it because, that's just not what I like to do. I don't like to say, hey, I'm doing this or that or this or that. But there are things in the background that I know the PGA Tour and I am doing to help out communities alike that are struggling for sure.
Thanks, Bryson.
Thanks.
Okay, we go now to Brian Wacker with Golf Digest. Brian.
Hey, Bryson. Just going back to the success you had at the PGA, obviously, and other events since you've added this bulk. I think it's 40 pounds or so.
Yeah.
Where's the limit for you? Do you keep adding bulk, trying to chase more speed? What's the future, I guess, look like for you in that respect?
Well, every day I'm taking it as a new day, looking at it from a fresh perspective, saying, hey, do I feel good? Can I keep going? And so far, it's been so good. Every day I wake up and I go, yes, I feel like I can go faster. I feel like I can swing it faster. Just last week I got my 6 iron up to 112 miles an hour swing speed. And my ball speed was 160, and that was me going after it. But I don't know where the limit is on this, and I'm excited about that because I keep looking forward to each and every day to go down this rabbit hole to see how far I can go. I'm sure there's going to be a time where I can't gain the size and strength like I have in this past year. So there's going to be a depreciating value to it over time. I know that. But every day I'm going to keep doing my best to keep hitting it farther. And like I said, this past week, I recognized that I wasn't hitting it as straight as I possibly could from the PGA Championship. And I went and worked on hitting it a little straighter with the driver and the irons and the wedges. So I'm always looking to improve in every facet, but definitely from a distance perspective, I don't know the limits to it yet.
Okay, it looks like we've got one more question in queue with Luke Cardini with Golf.com. Luke?
Hey, Bryson.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Just curious, so you said you've been working on hitting it a little straighter over the past week. I'm just curious, we know what your speed sessions look like when you're really trying to increase speed. But what does a practice session look like when you're trying to actually straighten it out?
Yeah, it's a great question. What I try and do is practice every single club in the bag. Now, what I mean by that is I'll practice my wedges, I'll practice short iron, or I guess you could say pitching wedge, and then all the way to 4 iron. And I'll make sure every single one correlates to the previous club relative to the same motion that I'm trying to make. So, like for example, if I have a thought on how I should, have spinal extension or right side bend or something, whatever it is, I try and make sure it works throughout the whole entire bag. If it doesn't work with one club or a couple clubs, it usually won't work with the rest of them. So once I get down to 4 iron from the driver, if it doesn't work with 4 iron, I know it's not going to work with the rest of the irons. Or if I get down to 6 iron, it's not going to work with the rest of it for whatever reason. I don't know why, but that's just kind of the process that has gone on over the years of my practice. That's how I do it. I don't know what else to say other than that. Once I get to a spot where I feel like it's not working, I completely stop it and I try something new. I must have tried 50 different things, I guess, over those 9 hours of practice. And they're little things, right? It could be, left shoulder up or left shoulder out or left shoulder, just whatever it is, whatever I'm trying to accomplish. I try little variations. Then I compound a little bit. So I'll add this and then I'll add that and see if this works or that works. And it's just a process of elimination of going, nope, that didn't help. Nope, that didn't help. And then finding a little nugget every once in a while going, oh my gosh, it works with everything. And that's kind of what I felt this past week, yeah.
So you'll start the process again, go back to a shorter club, try something that doesn't work your way back. Yeah.
Correct, yeah. So I'll go driver. It's usually always driver because I want to make sure the driver, it works there. It's one of the most important things. And then I'll go down the bag. I'll go 3 wood, I'll go 4 iron, I'll go 7 iron, I'll go pitching wedge, and I'll go wedges. Sometimes I'll switch right to a wedge, and then I'll go to a 4 iron. It just depends, whatever I'm feeling that day. But it has to work throughout the bag.
Awesome.
Yep.
Okay, well, with that, Bryson, we always appreciate hearing from you and certainly wish you the best of luck this week.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.